Hello everyone! Let's see how to create these 8 video transitions in Premiere Pro. Number 1, Zoom Blur Shake Transition. I've already added 2 video clips to my timeline. First, create an adjustment layer and accept the default settings. Drag and drop it onto the timeline like this. Now, select the second clip and move to the start point. Hold the Shift key and press the left arrow key twice. Crop the start of the adjustment layer to that point. Next, hold Shift again and press the right arrow key 4 times. Crop the end of the adjustment layer to that point. Next, go to the Effects panel and search for Transform. Drag and drop it onto the adjustment layer like this. Starting from the beginning of the adjustment layer, go to the Effect Controls panel and scroll down to Transform. Click the stopwatch icons next to Scale, Skew, and Skew Axis. Hold Shift and press the right arrow key twice. Then change the scale to 140, skew to 10, and increase the skew axis by a large amount. Move forward a few frames and reset the keyframe values like this. Select all the keyframes and move them to the end of the adjustment layer. Uncheck Use Composition's Shutter Angle and set the angle to 360. Now you've got your Zoom Blur Shake transition. To smooth out the transition, select all the keyframes. Right-click on any keyframe and choose Auto Bezier. Number 2, Horizontal Whoosh Blur Transition. I've already added 2 clips to my timeline. First, create an adjustment layer and drag it above your 2 clips on the timeline. Next, go over to Effects and search for Offset. Add it to your adjustment layer. Then, search for Gaussian Blur and add it to your adjustment layer as well. Move your timeline slider so that it's perfectly centered between your 2 clips. Then move back 5 frames. Now, go over to Effect Controls, click the stopwatch icon for both Shift Center to and Blurriness, and modify the blur dimensions to horizontal. Move ahead 10 frames, modify Shift Center to -960, and create another keyframe for blurriness by clicking here. Now, move your timeline slider back to the center and modify the blurriness to 300. Highlight all your keyframes, right-click, select Temporal Interpolation, and choose Bezier. Then, expand Shift Center to highlight the left keyframe and drag it down and to the right slightly. Do the same for the other side like this. And there you have it. We've got our horizontal whoosh blur transition. Number 3, Light Leak Transition. I've already added 2 clips to the timeline. Next, drag and drop the light leak overlay video on top of those 2 clips. You can download the light leak video from the link in the description. Choose a section of the light leak that you like and trim it as shown. Now, find a spot where the light leak covers the entire screen and mark it by pressing M, but make sure to select the overlay video first. Then, drag that clip into place like this. Finally, head over to the Effect Controls panel and change the blending mode to screen. And that's it, we're done. Number 4, Luma Fade Transition. I already added 2 clips to my timeline. Choose where you want the Luma fade to occur, then take your second clip and drag it above the first so it overlaps like this. Now go to Effects, type in Gradient Wipe, and drag it on top of the clip you just moved. Make sure you're at the start of the clip on the preview window. Then go over to Effect Controls. Under Gradient Wipe, click the stopwatch icon under Transition Completion and change it to 100%. Now move your timeline ahead about 1 to 2 seconds and change the transition completion back to 0%. That's it. Number 5, Flash Transition. I've already added 2 clips to my timeline. Now, create an adjustment layer. Then drag and drop it above the second video layer. Next, trim the adjustment layer down to a desired length, 10 frames in this case. Place the time indicator at the cut between the videos. Then move 5 frames to the left by holding Shift and pressing the left arrow key once. After that, move 10 frames to the right by holding Shift and pressing the right arrow key twice. Now, go over to the Effects panel, search for Levels, and add it to the adjustment layer. In the Effect Controls panel, under Levels, create a keyframe for White Input Level and set the value to 20. Move to the start of the adjustment layer and click the Reset Parameter icon to reset the value. Then go to the end of the adjustment layer and reset it again. Now, select all the keyframes. Right-click any keyframe and select Ease In. Then right-click any keyframe again and select Ease Out. And that's how you create a flash transition in Premiere Pro. Number 6. Smooth logo transition. I already added 2 clips to the timeline. First, drag and drop your logo above the 2 video clips. Then select it and adjust the size to something like this. Next, nest your logo. Go to the Effects panel, search for Transform, and drag and drop it onto the nested layer. Reduce the duration of the nested layer as you prefer. For mine, the length is 70 frames. Hold the Shift key and press the right arrow key 7 times to set that. Now, go to the Effect Controls panel. Move 20 frames forward and create position and rotation keyframes. Then go to the beginning of the clip. Move the logo out of the frame like this, and set the rotation value to -180. To make the animation smooth, expand the position property. Click on the second keyframe and pull the levers until it looks like this. Similarly, expand the rotation property. Click on the second rotation keyframe and pull the levers until it matches this smooth animation style. Next, move the playhead 30 frames forward and create a scale keyframe. Then move another 10 frames forward and increase the size until the logo completely covers the preview window. Animate the rotation property like this to make the scale-up effect more elegant. Afterward, move another 10 frames forward and add a position keyframe. Move 10 more frames forward and use the position property to move the logo out of the frame like this. Set the shutter angle value to 180 for a more dynamic motion blur effect. Finally, move the playhead to the point where the logo covers the entire window. Select the nested layer and press M to mark the spot. Place the nested layer like this, aligning it with the cut between the clips. Now, you have a perfect logo transition seamlessly blending between the 2 clips. Number 7. Edge glitch transition.
I already added 2 clips to my timeline. First, go to the project window and create a new adjustment layer. Then, right-click the adjustment layer, go to Speed Duration, and set the duration to 2 frames by typing 2, then click OK. Now, drag the adjustment layer to the track above the videos and position it 1 frame before the cut. Then, select the adjustment layer and go to the Effects panel to add a few effects. First, search for Find Edges, then double-click on it to apply. Next, add VR Glow, and finally, add Noise. Now, go over to Effect Controls. Under Find Edges, check Invert. Then, under VR Glow, set Luma Threshold to 0 and Glow Brightness to 2. Under Noise, set Noise Amount to 25%, then uncheck Use Color Noise. Next, we're going to duplicate this adjustment layer by holding the Alt key and placing it at the end of the first adjustment layer, like this. Then, select the duplicated adjustment layer, go over to Effect, search for Invert, and double-click on it to apply. Now, we're going to duplicate the first adjustment layer again by holding Alt, clicking, dragging, and placing it after the second adjustment layer. Make sure to leave a 1-frame gap after the second adjustment layer. Next, right-click on the third adjustment layer, go to Speed and Duration, and set the duration to 6 frames by typing 6, then click OK. Now, hold the Alt key, duplicate the third adjustment layer, and place it before the first adjustment layer, but make sure to leave a 1-frame gap before the first adjustment layer. That's it! We have successfully created the edge glitch transition.
Number 8. Smooth spin transition. I've already added 2 clips to my timeline. First, create an adjustment layer and place it above both clips like this. Now, move the playhead to the end of the first clip. Hold the Shift key and press the left arrow key 3 times to go 30 frames back. Trim the beginning of the adjustment layer to this point. Next, hold Shift and press the right arrow key 6 times to go 60 frames forward. Trim the end of the adjustment layer to this point. Now, hold Alt and drag the adjustment layer up to duplicate it. Next, go to the Effects panel, search for Replicate, and apply it to the first adjustment layer. Then, in the Effect Controls panel, under the Replicate effect, change the count value to 3. Now, go back to the Effects panel, search for Mirror, and apply it 4 times to the first adjustment layer. In the Effect Controls panel, adjust the mirror effect settings as follows. First, Mirror Effect. Set reflection angle to 90 and increase the second reflection center value until it looks like this. Second mirror effect. Set reflection angle to 3x by typing 3x and decrease the first reflection center value until it looks like this. Third mirror effect. Set reflection angle to 270 and decrease the second reflection center value until it looks like this. Fourth mirror effect. Set reflection angle to 180 and decrease the first reflection center value until it looks like this. Now, search for Transform in the Effects panel and drag it onto the second adjustment layer. In the Effect Controls panel, uncheck Use Composition's Shutter Angle and set the shutter angle to 180. Then, change the scale value to 300 to bring the video back to its original size. Next, move the playhead to the beginning of the adjustment layer and create a rotate keyframe. Move the playhead a few seconds forward and change the rotation value to 360. Then, drag this second keyframe to the end point of the adjustment layer to make the transition smoother. Select both keyframes by holding Shift. Click on the first keyframe. Then right-click any keyframe and select Ease Out. Then again right-click, but this time select Ease In. And that's it. If you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome editing tips. See you in the next one.